Yeah, I'm just walking on Station Road now. There's three people in high-vis, two in army gear. Good afternoon, how are you doing, right?
Yes, good, thanks, how are you?
What are you guys doing on the streets, if you don't mind me asking?
The City Council, we're just supporting them, handing out COVID tests.
For what reason?
Just to give people a chance to test themselves in the house.
Can I ask you a question? I'm a citizen of Handsworth, and I live in this community. I just want to know, and I'm recording this for my safety and your safety also, why is the need to have the army on our streets and knocking on people's doors and to see if they want to be tested?
We're just here to support the council and hand them out.
But why the army?
Just to support. That's all we're here for, just to support the council and help hand out tests.
But if people want to have tests, surely that's their discretion. If they can go voluntarily to any sort of centres to have tested. So why knock on people's doors?
Just to give them the option. They don't have to take it. They can just take it if they want.
And whose directive is this?
Birmingham City Council.
Birmingham City Council. And where's Birmingham City Council got this directive from?
I'm not sure, sorry.
And also, just to say, if you do come knocking on my door and I refuse, is there any repercussions to that?
Of course not, no, it's entirely up to yourself.
And how do you guys feel? I assume you're part of the British Army?
The Air Force.
You are, the Air Force, yeah? And how do you guys feel knocking on people's doors?
Well, I don't answer more questions, but we're just here to support, but thank you.
Yeah, but surely, I mean, you're here to, this is a democratic country that we live in, yes? And it's a free country. Do you not think this is a bit draconian in terms of what you guys are doing?
I'm not answering more questions, sorry, but we're just here to support. But thank you.
So you're only here to support?
We're here to support the
Yeah?
council, yeah.
Is there any legal right that you can actually go around knocking on people's doors?
I'm not answering any more questions.
Well, it's not very good. Like I said, I'm not happy as a citizen of Handsworth, and I'm one of the residents around here. And if I do see anybody, any people that I know, I will tell them to refuse to open their doors, because I think it's an absolute liberty of people's civil rights and taking away our freedoms. This is absolute tyranny. Having the army on the streets, yeah? Having the army on the streets. No, listen, I'm saying, having the army on the streets is absolute tyranny. And you guys really should be ashamed of yourselves doing this, you know that? It's absolutely disgusting. Is this what this country's come to now? Absolutely disgraceful. Knocking on people's doors to ask if they want to be tested. There's nothing wrong with people. If people want to get tested, they can go to these test centres if they want to. This is intimidation. You know that. Absolute tyranny. And mark my words, we'll be getting the words out. Taking orders from on high. So this is Station Road, people. They're going out knocking on people's doors, asking if they want to have voluntary tests. And we don't even know what these tests are. We don't know what they're for. So please, I say to the community of Handsworth, do not open your doors, and if you do open your doors, politely tell them to go away. Just tell them to go away. Tell them you don't want to test. This is all against the law. Coming around knocking on people's doors. How dare you taking civil liberties out of knocking on people's doors? Well, you shouldn't be asking people, madam, shut your door and tell them no. Right? This is a piss take. The army on the streets. You should be ashamed of yourselves. This is Britain, not communist China. Just politely say no, madam. Yeah, you all need to get off the streets. All of you.
Why?
Why? Because you're taking the piss, that's why. Knocking on people's doors, it's a liberty. Don't just say no. Don't open your doors. They've got no right coming around here knocking on people's doors. This is a liberty. Yeah, you all need to get off the roads, get off the streets and stop knocking on people's doors. Tell them no, love, if they come knocking on your door. Who do you think you are? I'm a citizen of this country, that's who I am, mate. I'm a tax-paying individual. Okay. Well, yeah, you got no right going around knocking on people's doors.
What, giving a free COVID test?
Yes. If people want to have a COVID test, they can go on their own free will. We don't need people like you knocking on people's doors. Okay. Now do one. Okay. Because there'll be many more of us on the streets. Goodbye. Yeah, goodbye. Goodbye.
We're now here at forces.net that says COVID-19, how the military's fighting coronavirus. From placing Nightingale hospitals to delivering PPE, the armed forces have been playing a leading role in response to the pandemic. Again, problem, reaction, solution, because as we've gone over, is it really even a pandemic? Or is it a scheme to take away the little to no rights you already don't have and to make you subservient to your government and to the police and to the military? That's for you to decide. But this right here says UK Armed Forces personnel are continuing to have a key role in the country's response to COVID as we head into cold and flu season. Last week, 100 RAF personnel deployed to Birmingham to begin supporting the City Council's drop and collect testing initiative, the video that you just saw for 5 minutes. It has involved delivering coronavirus testing kits to people with or without symptoms who are living in high-risk areas. The health secretary, meanwhile, has said that the military would be involved in distributing a potential coronavirus vaccine. They even tell you right here that they're going to what? Distribute a vaccine as well. Why are they telling you this? And just like the speaker in the video said, people can go to these places, can go to testing centers to get testing kits. Why do the Army need to be passing out testing kits to people on the streets? Not only that, but when it comes to that, the military's response, 20,000 troops were at readiness with more than 4,000 of them deployed at one time. They tell you about the hospitals as we keep reading on. I'm going to scroll through this quickly. I'll leave the link in the description box below if you would like to read more about it. But then it keeps going to talk about mobile testing as well. They are also helping to bring PPE, or the personal protective equipment, to the front lines, such as masks, safety glasses, gloves, aprons, and protective suits as well, and also increasing medical capacity. So this again is all what the military is doing. And folks, this is just the United Kingdom alone. Soon enough, as we know and as we've talked about, it's going to be coming to America and the rest of the world as well. This is just what, a guinea pig place that they're testing it for before they bring it to the rest of the world. And meanwhile, this is before they come out with the vaccine too. But Forces.net also released this article a week ago that says coronavirus health secretary, armed forces to help distribute coronavirus vaccine. Why do they need to do that? Especially going on the streets doing that. You didn't see them doing that when it came to polio. You didn't see them doing that when it came to all these other ones. So why all of a sudden are they doing it with this one? Not only that, but then it even says here that less than half of the UK population could be vaccinated against COVID, according to the head of the country's vaccine task force. Folks, are you hearing this and what's really going on? And if you're wondering why my voice is so adamant right now, it's because the New World Order is at play even as we speak right now. We're no longer talking about it. We're no longer reporting about it. It's actually here and it's actually happening right before our eyes now. And according to the report, it says the health secretary has said that the military would be involved in distributing a potential coronavirus vaccine, and also that the prime minister said that there will be some bumpy months ahead, but they're working as hard as they can to get the vaccine out as fast and as safely as possible, even though they already have the vaccine ready to go. And they're going to claim too that it may take more than a year for everyone in the UK to get the vaccine. So this vaccine is for everyone. They're already reporting and expecting everyone to take it. How many people are in the UK right now? This is for everyone, according to them. Do you see what this is leading up to? Well, Trump has already said that the vaccine would actually come through the military. Here's the footage.
One issue that has come up is once you do have a vaccine, how do you properly distribute it? How do you get it out quickly to millions?
Well, when we have the vaccine, we have the military all lined up. We have the military all lined up. We have the military all lined up. And the military is going to be doing it in a very powerful manner. The military is going to be doing it in a very powerful manner. These are people that don't usually do vaccines. They do soldiers and they do lots of other things that frankly are more difficult. But we have our general, and logistically he's all set. Tony, do you want to say something about that? That is correct. As the vaccine rolls out, we'll be getting them distributed. And as you probably have heard, we are going to make sure that we do it in an equitable way, and it's representative of the populations who need it the most. And it's representative of the populations who need it the most. And we have the standard way that we determine that with the ACIP working with the CDC, but Dr. Collins and Dr. Redfield have put together with the National Academy of Medicine a group that will fortify that decision-making process so that we're making sure that we're very fair and equitable in getting the vaccine distributed properly.
Now, I found this report to be very interesting that comes from the Daily Mail. I'm not going to go over all of it, but we will go over just the bulleted points that say world's first COVID passport technology will be trialed on flights from Heathrow this week in bid to let passengers travel without risk of quarantine in future, but requires authorities to trust test lab results from abroad. Heathrow tested app to let people travel around the world around the plane without quarantine risk. United Airlines and Cathay Pacific are trying out Common Pass software, and that the pass works by passengers taking a test at a certified lab before uploading it. It generates a QR code that can be scanned by airline staff and border officials, but it will require governments to trust COVID tests taken at foreign labs. Well, what is the problem with this? Because you might be thinking to yourself, oh, well, that doesn't sound too bad. Oh, that sounds actually really great. Oh, at least they're testing everyone. Well, do you know what they're testing for? Do you know what exactly they're doing? Are they collecting your DNA? Are they collecting certain things about you? Are they spying on you more through these tests? I mean, really, folks, you have to see these things with both your eyes open. But if you would like to read this report, I will link it in the description box below. And not only that, folks, but pay careful attention as well, because what, now you need to be tested just to travel abroad, just to travel overseas? Soon enough, you're going to need the vaccine. Soon enough, you won't be able to do anything unless you comply with your government, the New World Order. And remember how we talked about for how many years now on this channel, this document, which is an Army document, a U.S. Army document, FM 3-39.40, Internment and Resettlement Operations, that was published about 10 years ago in 2010 from the Department of the Army. It's a 326-page document, which I'm not going to go over all of it, but I will link it in the description box below. The reason I'm bringing it up again right now is because, again, folks, you need to see how this very document is taking place right before our eyes about internment and resettlement, about having the Army and the military on the streets and what, gathering people soon enough and taking them into FEMA camps or so-called shelters or quarantine places, placing people in quarantines, just as we talked about for how many years now. Now it's actually becoming a reality. But again, I will link it in the description box. You can read chapters 1, 2, and 3 that talk about internment and resettlement in the operational environment, and also in support of the spectrum of operations, command and staff roles, and responsibility. The part we're going to go over actually is from chapter 4, capture, initial detention, and screening. If you're following along with us, we're now here on page 59 that says Chapter 4, Capture, Initial Detention, and Screening. Personnel conducting detainee operations must ensure that these operations are performed in a manner that provides for the humane treatment and care of detainees, thereby reducing the probability of incidents of abuse involving U.S. Armed Forces and detainees. Let me ask you this question in case you don't already know the answer to it. Who are the detainees? The detainees are people like you and me. The detainees are people like yourself listening to this video. The detainees are the citizens of these different nations, the citizens of the USA. That's who they classify as detainees. So when they say reducing the probability of incidents of abuse, what exactly are they talking about? Are they hinting at riots? Are they hinting at protests? It seems as though they're planning all of this ahead of time. I mean, this document even tells you about the FEMA camps, and there's so much more in this document that exposes it, but we're not going to go over all of it for the sake of time. But right here under 4-2, it says, while 1 or 2 detainees may not create a major challenge, A large number of detainees require significantly more soldiers and resources and pose increased security risks to soldiers and themselves. Detainees must be safeguarded, according to them, to